I'm going to do a scene read from The Howler, which is available as an ebook, but also in 3-bone Anthology 3, out now under my middle grade name of TK Wrathbone. Okay, here we go with a scene read from The Howler. After school, Sam rang his parents for permission to go and see Elliot and took the bus to the hospital. He found him in the kids' ward watching TV. Well, you look all right. What's wrong with you? Elliot glanced from the TV to his friend. Nothing. They couldn't find any reason why I fitted, but want me to stay in for the rest of the week or something. So you get a week off school? Cool. Sam dumped his bag on the floor and sat next to Elliot on the bed. What is wrong with you? Do you have epilepsy? No, Elliot replied, scrolling through the channels. They have absolutely no idea why it happened. That's why they want to keep me in, for more tests. But if you aren't epileptic, Sam thought about it. Tell me, what were you going to say before you jerked like a weirdo? You said you heard it and saw... Saw what? What did you see? Elliot blinked. I really don't want to talk about it. He went quiet and looked away with a frown. Because you don't remember or because you crapped your pants? Sam joked. A brief smile lit up Elliot's face. I didn't crap my pants. You do that. So, spit it out. Maybe it will help you, Sam said, wanting to hear the rest of the story. Elliot sighed and relented. I heard thrashing in the underbrush and couldn't move. I was frozen in place, then it stopped, and I couldn't see anything. Then the threatening growl came from just meters in front of me. It was like really... He tried to think of the words. Deep and angry and throaty, and then... His voice wandered off. Then? Sam urged. What? Then... Elliot blinked. Elliot swallowed. Elliot opened his mouth. I saw its eyes. A shudder racked his body and he started jerking. Alarms on the machine sounded and nurses came running in. Out of the way, they told Sam, who almost fell off the bed. He stood back and watched them work on Elliot's body, trying to revive him, trying to bring him back to normal. Scared, Sam collected his bag and stood in the hallway until it was done, and they brought Elliot back and settled him comfortably into his bed. Clutching his bag to his chest, Sam waited for the doctor. What's wrong with him? He's not epileptic, so why is he fitting all of a sudden? The doctor scribbled notes on a clipboard and turned to Sam. We don't know. He was fine by the time they brought him in, but now he's had another fit. We don't know what's causing it. Sam pondered his next question before asking it. Will he die? The doctor smiled sympathetically. We don't think so, but we don't know. Can he still come to the Halloween party at school this weekend? If he's okay, I don't see why not, the doctor replied. Why don't you say goodbye and he can get some rest? Okay. Sam walked silently back to Elliot's bed. El, I'm going to go. Not much point me being here when you're sick. Dazedly, Elliot reached out and grabbed Sam's arm. His lips moved, but no sound came out. His eyes were hooded and thick. Sam leaned closer. You say something? Elliot tried to speak, but nothing came out. Sam hoisted himself up so he could lean over Elliot and put his ear to his friend's mouth. Repeat it? Elliot rasped. Sam looked into Elliot's feverish eyes. Did you say the Howler? Elliot's head barely nodded as his eyes closed. He was asleep. Moving back from the bed, Sam studied his face, pale, tired, sickly, and he knew regardless of what was going on, he was going to find out what Elliot saw in the woods. I'm now going to do a scene from Shadow Walkers. Do a scene? No, read a scene. I'm not acting it out. I'll read a scene from Shadow Walkers. Taking a deep breath, Sharon told him the whole story as she knew it. How he had been hit on the head with the paint tins and had been unconscious for a week. How they bled his head and he went into cardiac arrest 1 week later. How the doctor said they needed to keep an eye on him to see what had changed, but so far there didn't seem to be anything dramatic happening. Sharon, Mark warned. She sighed and looked at her husband. Well, there is one thing. Picking up a small mirror from the bedside trolley, she handed it to her son. Take a look. Curious, but also worried, Elliot took the mirror and looked at his face. Jesus Christ, look at my eyes! They widened as he stared back, astonished at how his eyes had changed colour. How the hell did that happen? He looked from left to right, up then down. Watch the language, his dad warned. The doctors aren't sure. They think it had to do with the brain damage. They've never seen anything like it before. Neither have I. Whoa, look at them. Elliot pulled his eyelids up. Cool, I've never seen anyone with this eye colour before. Neither have we, the doctor who had been looking after Elliot walked in. Elliot, I'm Dr. Nevo. You've been my patient since you were brought in. I've looked after you since. How do you feel? He stood at the end of the bed reading Elliot's chart. Old. Elliot stared at him. Out of time. Nevo glanced up. Well, that's an interesting thing to say. Why do you feel old? Because I've aged. Elliot blinked. I've lived 1,000 lifetimes, done 1,000 things. I'm tired and I'm old and I've run out of time. Time for what? Nevo asked, seeing a psychology paper before him. For life, Elliot replied mechanically. For living. Interesting, Nevo muttered, seeing the concerned look on Sharon and Mark's faces. He stepped around to the other side of the bed and flicked a light across Elliot's eyes. How old are you, Elliot? Elliot blinked. 1,083. Nevo's lip curled up. Really? That's very interesting. And what have you done? Oh, this and that. Elliot waved an uninterested hand. Sailed the high seas, fought in wars, climbed the highest mountains, lived an ancient life. That is very interesting, Elliot. Nevo straightened and crossed his arms. Could you write it all down for me? I don't have the time. When can I get out? Elliot countered. Well, Nevo glanced at the parents. We can do another full body scan and see if you're okay. If you are, then we can let you go home. You already know I'm all right. You found nothing in the last 2 scans. The injury has healed. The swelling dissipated. There's nothing wrong with me except for this eye colour, which you clearly can't explain. No, Nevo smiled. We can't, and you're very astute, Elliot. Heard the last few conversations about your test results, did you? Something like that. Elliot's eyes wandered back to the clock. Okay, then. Nevo walked around to Elliot's parents. We'll schedule tests for tomorrow, and if he's okay, you can take him home. Oh, thank God, Sharon breathed. It will be good to get him home. What about school? Elliot asked. There's a couple of weeks left. I could spend it with mates, catch up on work before the holidays. Otherwise, I won't see anyone until next year. The adults turned to him. I don't see why you can't spend a few hours with your schoolmates, Nevo said, provided you don't participate in sports or physical activities. Keep it light and non-violent. I guess we could let him go, Sharon murmured, as long as he passes all the tests. I'm going to do a scene read from Faded. Here we go. She felt her bladder about to burst, so quietly slipped out of her bag and into the bathroom connected to Susan's room. It was also connected to Susan's brother's room, so she hoped he didn't need to go. Closing the door, she flicked on the light, did what she needed to do, and washed her hands. While standing at the basin, she examined her face in the cabinet mirror. Pale, withdrawn, eyes sunken, cheeks hollow. God, I look awful. She dried her hands and leaned in for a closer look. She didn't look herself. Is this what I look like in the middle of the night? God, how horrible. Staring into the mirror, she became mesmerized by her eyes. Under the white light, the green of her irises began swimming, like whirlpools of emerald, but quickly became overwhelmed by the black that invaded them, covering them like a blanket of evil, enveloping all that they were. Her fist banged on the mirror as she saw herself on the other side. Gretchen looked up from the fires of the hellish destruction below to see a swirling black mess open to show herself on the other side of it. What the hell? She ran to it and placed her hands on the smooth surface of the wormhole, or vision, or mirror, or whatever the hell it was, but she was also on the other side with eyes as black as night. What's going on? She yelled. Hello? Is that me? The wind whipped her around, flinging her hair across her face. She brushed it aside. Hello? Who are you? Why are you here? How can I see you? Is that me? Why am I not in my body? How is this happening? The questions came thick and fast and all went unanswered as she stared at herself through the two-way mirror floating in the sky. What the hell? Gretchen murmured, seeing herself on some grassy knoll floating above the sky. Who are you? Are you me? Wait, I just dreamt about you. Am I still dreaming? I had the dream about being on a grassy knoll and seeing hell over the side, and now I'm looking in the mirror at the exact same thing. It can't be possible. It just can't be. I can't be seeing this. I must still be asleep. I have to be dreaming this. Annoying sound came through her ears and into her brain, growing louder and louder. What is that? She grasped her ears and placed her hands flat against her head, trying to block out the noise. What is that? What's going on? The only way she could put it was that it sounded as if something was chewing on her brain, eating it from the inside out. Oh, what is that? She doubled at the waist, bending over, almost falling to her knees. No, no, what's going on? Gretchen yelled from her grassy knoll, banging on the window. Where are you? Where did you go? Come back. Why am I seeing myself? What is this world? Come back. Who are you? Are you me? What's going on? That was a scene read from Faded, available as an ebook, but also in 3-bone Anthology 3, all out now under my middle grade name of TK Wrathbone.